On a day, well, the day after Captain Rex has passed, Pee Wee Herman, Captain Rex, right? Rex the DJ, Rex the Star Tours pilot, the original one, the DJ in Oga's Cantina, has passed at 70 years of age. I don't know from what. Did anybody hear from what? I actually haven't.
Yeah,
I
he's
haven't
been
heard.
battling cancer for 6 years and has not said anything about it.
Hello?
Yeah, Captain Rex I saw this news this morning, and I was like, no, Pee Wee. Like, I honestly, I grew up with Pee Wee Herman. I think we all did. We're all in that same age bracket. It took me a few minutes to actually realize, oh, he's Captain Rex. Like, there is a Disney connection. So I thought I would bring that up. I had to even look what I was doing when I was looking so weird in the video here, was trying to figure out what episode number we're on, because it's been a while. But my life has been all over. Gina knows this. My life has been all over the place these last 4 or 5 months since we've actually done this. My wife, I'm not going to get into everything, but my wife had a health issue, little health scare there for a little bit, which took up the bulk of basically springtime, kind of after we recorded the last episode, most of March and April. She's good now, so that's all done. May brings the end of the school year for Gina and I, so that's always busy. And then softball consumed my summer like it never has before. Everything else has usually been kind of little bits here and there, but this was like 5 days a week. So I had literally the last 2 weeks, I'm glad to get off a softball field because I just needed a break. I wasn't visiting the park that often, which is unusual for me in the summertime. Usually I'm there at least once a week. But I have managed to kind of make that up. I'd make sporadic trips here and there, and have managed to kind of make that up in the last couple of weeks, including today. Like, as humid as it is outside, later today, after it cools down a little bit, I'll be making the venture there to do whatever. Actually, go get my birthday button, because yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday, Dan!
Thank you. I'm going to get my birthday button
Happy birthday.
as I deserve, because I pay enough. And today was the day I actually received the email that my passes can be renewed, so I will be doing that later too. Not at the park, just online. But I'll be renewing my passes for yet another year.
Same here. I'm renewing mine this weekend as well.
Yeah. So it's been a while. The biggest thing right now is Haunted Mansion is the big thing right now. Oh, Gina's got something. Gina has something. We're waiting. I know what she has. Look at him. How gorgeous is that?
I'm not going to turn him on because this is one of yours. And they have like the little thing in here.
Tab. Okay.
Yeah. But the hat box, the actual lit up part is the scariest looking. It looks like he literally peeled his face off and stuck it in there. It's very scary, but
it's so big.
Look at this.
Yeah, it's big.
That's a sipper.
Here's the sipper part. It's in the back of his little cloak.
Oh wow.
And then his whole head pops off.
Is that the most expensive sipper yet?
I think it is.
Because
it's just 30.
Because while I was pointing out to you in the chat of how the train popcorn bucket I think is cheaper than we thought it would be, the sipper is actually, it's just as much as I would expect for the quality of it, but I think that it is pretty high for a sipper.
Yeah, it was $32 for the sipper, and they gave you a drink with it. But I think what they're doing is they're pulsing them out into the park, and they're releasing so many per day.
Which is what they should do.
As they should.
That's actually what happened, because we have another friend that got his for he and his brother, and didn't get there in the morning like Gina did. Got there later in the afternoon and got it from Harbor Galley, and there was no line by then. So they had definitely kind of paced it out, because he was able to walk right up and just pick one up. And then somebody had asked him, where did you get that? And he said, right there.
It's also easy for Harbor Galley to fall under the radar too for most people. It always has.
Yeah, well, and they're all over. They're at all the carts by Haunted Mansion, and they're at Harbor Galley, and I think there's one at Pooh Corner, the one there. So there's multiple locations to get it. So it kind of spread out the line. But there was a lot of misinformation online on Friday, like talking about like how many people like that they were already sold out when they weren't. And just a lot of that same Disney hype I went early in the morning because I'm a morning person anyway. I always rope drop the park more often than not. And so I was walking around. I rode a few rides, went to Oga's. So I was doing my own thing before the zipper came out. I waited like 20 minutes, maybe. Met a couple people in line. Saw vloggers.
I mean,
as you do. It was all right. So it was funny. The guy in front of me, we were chit chatting, and I look over, and it was David from Fresh Bake, and he was just like videoing the line. And I go, "Oh, look, it's David. It's from the guy from Fresh Bake." And the guy in front of me is like, "Oh, what's his name?" I was like, "David." The guy in front of me yells across the line, "David from Fresh Bake, man! I love what you do." I'm all, bro, you didn't even know who he was until I just told you.
Maybe he's just trolling.
Whatever, I don't care. But I was like, whatever, man. So it was, you know what? It was fun. I met a lot of fans in line, a lot of people dressed in Haunted Mansion merch, a lot of like, I did not meet anyone who was buying like for reselling. Everybody I stood in line with all bought one or two. I was the only one buying 5. And I felt
so
like
sorry.
all eyes on me. You know what? Whatever. I'm not reselling them. I could sleep at night.
No, who cares?
You know, I don't care.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you, I was a walking billboard because I had so many people stopping me on Main Street throughout the park as I'm walking out. Oh my God, where can I get that? That thing is so cool. And so I was like, I'm just giving Disney, like, more people are going to go buy it right now. But I'm like, I have a clear conscience, but I thought it was funny. So I didn't see any of the resellers. I know they exist, but they weren't in line with me that morning.
They got them. I mean, I'm sure, you know, they're on there. Although somebody had pointed out to me, or maybe I just saw it in a thing online, that there were ones being sold online. Or maybe I'm thinking about Oogie Boogie tickets. I'll hold it because maybe it was Oogie Boogie tickets that I was talking about.
Well, is it the Oogie Boogie tickets? Disney can trace those. Disney can't really trace. if I buy this zipper and then I sell this zipper under a pseudonym, or I have my sister sell it for me, Disney can't really trace this purchase back to me to do anything to my past. But Oogie Boogie tickets, that's your digital footprint. Like, they could tell that it's you. And so for Oogie Boogie tickets, I do know that Disney was trying to pop some people for reselling those. I don't know I don't think Disney can catch the resellers for the zipper, but who knows? But yeah, they definitely did for Oogie Boogie.
Yeah, that whole thing was a mess. The last time I looked on eBay, and I just look every once in a while out of curiosity to see how many tickets are being sold. It's down drastically how many tickets are being sold. So either Disney popped them, or people realized this isn't the avenue that I should be doing it in. I put in Boogie Bash tickets on eBay right now, and I see nothing.
Same.
I see nothing.
I'm currently looking at Hatbox zippers on eBay, and there are plenty, both buy it nows and ones that are being bid. The highest one I see is one that's 8 bids, $81 right now.
I mean, it's good, but it's not $81 good. But if you live in the middle of, like, you know, Kansas, and you're not getting to Disneyland,
you don't have a choice.
You
don't have a choice.
Well, I do know that there are personal shoppers that charge way less than that will pick them up for people.
But I have sold lots of Disney things on eBay, and you know what the weirdest thing is? Some of the best stuff and the highest priced stuff I've sold on eBay, people that live close to Anaheim. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding. It's people that just, they can't get in.
People that live close to the parks, both parks. I've sold to people in Florida too. Stuff like when we were selling her uniforms after she left Disney, people were buying them super close to Disneyland. People in Anaheim, Garden Grove.
That's crazy.
All around there. It's just so funny that it's what Dad said. It's the I can't goers. You know, it's the people that they want those pieces of Disneyland that they can't get because they can't afford to go, or whatever reason they have 15 kids and they have this huge Disney collection. somehow they have a lot of money and a lot of kids, and they still can't go to Disneyland, but they can spend $100 on a Disneyland uniform. I don't know.
So as we speak, I went and I searched the sold completed posts for Oogie Boogie Bash, and no tickets come up. Nothing. not even past. So, and I think it goes about a month back. So definitely within the time that they were being sold. I go all the way back to June and see nothing.
Disney popped them and or contacted eBay and was like, "You gotta stop.
Can't do this." Yeah. So that's interesting. Okay, so Haunted Mansion, we got the Sipper. Thank you very much. I will pick that up next week. I'm excited. So, movie, did we see? Am I the only one that's seen the film?
Probably.
Yeah, I haven't gone to a movie theater in probably 4 years, so I won't see it until it comes out on Disney Plus.
So you said I'll talk about it for a little bit. It'll keep it spoiler free. You said something that actually I had thought about. So I think it was Anthony that said it isn't people in Iowa or whatever picking this stuff up. I think that's one of the things about this movie is I thought the movie was actually really good. I thought it was really well done. It's got humor in it. It's got some parts that it's rated PG-13. So there are some stuff like obviously you see what you said. Oh, well, the Hatbox Ghost when he's in the hat it's scary looking. Okay. Constance the Bride is scary looking at parts. And some of the other ghosts are a little frightening for younger people. That's what it is. But when I was thinking about this, I thought about how much of a niche film this actually is, because unless you know the Haunted Mansion, you get a story, and there is a story, and the story plays out, and it makes sense. And I said it's a good movie. I liked it. It's a family film, but you get more out of it knowing the mansion because of everything that's in the background. The things that you want to see in the background that are in the mansion are in the film all over the place. I mean, I spent more time looking at the background of what was going on and just what's there, as I did listening to the actors have the conversation that drove the film. I thought that was kind of interesting. But I did go to Comic-Con, and Comic-Con was, I know Anthony wants to hear this, very, very different this year. Don't even. I won't get you started on that, but I know.
All I know is I saw pictures, and it reminded me of 05.
Yeah.
Back in the days of the last years of the Great Comic-Con.
So, but
this year, anybody
who was saying
it's a Comic-Con of old, and I love all of them for it, and I hate all of them for it because I wish I could have been there.
So what it was this was a very comics-driven convention, and everybody said a lot of retailers said we had record numbers of sales, either really high up from previous years, or we set a record this year for sales because people were spending money because that's what there was to do. It was the convention floor. Now there were still literally thousands of panels that still happened. So I actually went to one that was called Directors on Directing, and it was with Gareth Edwards, who of course directed Rogue One and is directing a feature film called Creator from Disney that's coming out in a few months. And it also had Joseph Siemens, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, that directed The Haunted Mansion. And he was there talking about it. And as much as this guy was talking about this film and what kind of a passion project it was for him and how much passion he shows for the ride, because he used to work at Disneyland, it sold me. I already wanted to see this movie, but when he starts talking about it and then they show a clip of it and just him getting into the background of everything, even something as simple as like this film is a mostly black cast, and that's intentional. It's intentional that it's a mostly black cast because what's a huge population in New Orleans? It's black. So why would that not be represented in a film about New Orleans? Even that, I thought that was fantastic and a smart idea. And even going through stuff where he was, going through, and obviously he's a director, you have some say into what happens in scenes and stuff. And he was like, "Why this scene needs to be in the stretching room? Why? Because this scene should take place in the stretching room, and we should show the stretching room, like actually doing the stretching and stuff." So that's what it was. This movie, I think I said it to you both in the chat, is a love letter to fans of the attraction, and that's what it is. Everybody that I have actually talked to has actually said, you know what, it was a good movie. It wasn't. It's never going to be an Academy Award winning movie. That's not what we're looking for here. This was a movie that featured a ride. It's not Pirates of the Caribbean, which, because it's such a niche thing. Pirates is very broad. Pirates is a very broad subject matter, and it has no kind of backstory. Technically, the Haunted Mansion doesn't have a backstory either, but it's got enough characters in it. You can have them drive the film, and that's what this did. So I think it was done very well. A complaint I hear, and I know you guys have seen it too, is, the acting was bad. Acting was bad. First of all, you have Owen Wilson. You already knew what you were getting.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
Yeah, Danny DeVito. You know what you're getting when they're acting, right? You weren't going to get. You're not getting Shakespeare, The Godfather. That's not what you're getting.
That's not what you're going into that movie for.
No, I'm not going into this. Seeing this specific things, and I'm like, the acting was bad. No, they did what they were supposed to. It's the mansion itself pokes fun at itself. That's part of what it's doing, is poking fun at itself. So why would you not have, the characters and the dialogue and the way they act? Yeah.
Sorry, I was reacting to something that was actually live. You people don't see.
Sorry.
I think it's poking fun at it knows what it is. This film knows what it is. Yeah. So the acting, I don't think it was bad. I think it was what the film was trying to achieve. I really do like it. I'm going to see it again.
What I want to know is that everything that you've said could equally be applied to the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah. Okay.
In a sense. So I want to know what's the difference.
So, the Eddie Murphy movie, now let's get it straight. I don't think the Eddie Murphy movie was a bad movie.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think it was a bad movie. Where it
I saw it at
where it I don't even want to say it lost me, because it didn't. I own it on Blu-ray. Where it didn't catch me was the fact that they used the Florida version of the mansion versus the Disney version here, the Anaheim version.
The exterior, right?
Yeah, the exterior. You lost me there.
Right.
Like, if you were going to do that, it needed to be the iconic, like, this is what it is type thing. You lost me there. I didn't think it was a bad movie either. It's kind of apples and oranges. Where, and I'm not giving you a huge spoiler by doing this, because I'm going to talk more about the Eddie Murphy movie. Gracie, right? That story. What you heard was the story of the mansion that's kind of fan created, drove the original Haunted Mansion movie.
On the new one?
No, the old one.
Oh, the old one, right.
Gracie, like the whole Gracie thing, that drove the movie. This one didn't. Gracie is in the movie, but he's not even a main character. He's a character in the mansion, because that's what it is, right? The mansion is a character.
This new movie uses more of the natural narrative progression of the ride, though. Which the ride does have a narrative story progression.
Yes.
Which I do want to bring up about something else when you're done talking about this.
Well, go ahead, because I think we can go all over the place.
Talk about Florida.
Okay.
I know that, well, I haven't been on Florida's Haunted Mansion. I don't know if either of you have been to Florida or have been on that ride.
Oh, I know where you're going with it. Okay, go ahead.
Basically, it's the same. Mm-hmm. It just obviously has the different outside. They announced this week that Hatbox is, which I didn't even know that Hatbox wasn't at Florida. I thought he had premiered at the same time as Disneyland, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just totally over my head, anyways.
And in all the years I've known you, you know this is me. # not my park.
Right, exactly.
Right? In all the years I've known you, that's been a thing. All right.
So they announced that Hatbox was going in there. But it's not the announcement that Hatbox is going in that has people are not happy about it, which you would be shocked at first until I actually found out why, and I'm like, oh, they want to put Hatbox in the endless hallway.
Okay.
Now think about the narrative progression of the ride, because I was talking to her and she didn't even realize that there's a narrative progression to the ride.
I like how he's talking about Becca, but she's nowhere to be seen on the on the green screen.
The endless hallway is at the beginning of the ride after you've gone through the graveyard and you're in the house.
Yes.
But before you get to Madame Leota. Now, what happens after you've? What do you see nothing of before you hit Madame Leota?
Well, no ghosts. They materialize.
Corporal ghost.
Yeah.
You have plenty of walls pulsating, shadows, tombstones, and the coffin pushing skeletons. No ghosts. Where's the endless hallway? It's in that area. It's Madame Leota that calls the ghosts to form, to show themselves. It's all of her dialogue. If you know, for those that apparently haven't listened to the dialogue, she is the one who calls the ghosts to appear.
Right.
Then once she calls the ghosts, and then you go into the ballroom, the banquet room,
and into the attic,
and then into the attic, and that's where all the ghosts are.
Right.
So the fans of Walt Disney World are mad because it's going to mess up the narrative story of the ride by putting Hatbox in the. While it would look cool to have him there, if you're going to have him there, you need to have him doing something than just standing there with his Hatbox looking static. He needs to be doing something if you're going to put him in that hallway. He needs to have a reason for him to be the one that you see first. You have to know that he's important. Him just standing there, nothing.
Two things.
Okay. Yes.
First is space.
Oh yeah.
Does the ride does it copy it exactly? Like as far as, and I don't know the answer to this because I've never been on it. I've never been before.
Spot at the end of the attic to slip him in there.
Okay. Because ours was just in this weird spot too, right? When he was added into Anaheim, just past the Bride, there's just that weird little spot as you're kind of falling out of the house. That's where he was at it.
Right.
Okay? Right. So that's one thing. Two, I don't know how much spoilers you want me to give about the movie, but that could be movie driven. That could be slightly movie driven with his placement there.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I wonder if this was a thought of Imagineers as opposed
to no, because you know, movie driven things do. I mean, look at Johnny in look at Captain Jack in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
I mean, at least narratively, it doesn't mess up anything though. He's just at the ride. It doesn't do anything. Or he pops up throughout the ride. That doesn't mess up anything either, as long as he doesn't pop up in the same scene twice, because then that would just be stupid. But no, I get it. But they obviously it just goes to show that even the whoever makes these decisions doesn't even pay attention to the actual narrative story of their own rides, and it's just another example of how the people. I could go off on a whole thing, and Dan knows it, about how it's just the creative, the lack of creativity lately in the last few years has just been.
Well, I
don't even want to get into it. I'll let somebody else rant about that.
They're paying their CEO $75,000 per day to figure out why they're losing money, to spend on any creative juices. So.
I was a big fan of Iger, and I defended him. And I was like, when he came back, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be the best thing for Disney." It's certainly better than Mr. Baldy, But then he had to go and say what he said about the strike, and
his private jet making $75,000 a day. I'm like, bro, just pay people what they're worth.
He just lost all credibility with any of his.
But it aligns with Walt's the union breaker, so he has Walt's vision of busting unions. So I guess he's in the same vein. They gotta remember, business owners, union workers. Really different.
When he came back, I mean, it was us saying, "This guy's not Jesus."
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not going to save your stuff. He's just a different corporate person that's going to, do some different things that are going to make some fans a little bit happier. But he's not your savior. That's not what you're going to get. He's going to look for ways to make that company money. That's the bottom line. Because that's what his job is.
Heard how many people, the guy standing with me in line when I was buying our little Hatbox Ghost sipper, he was so upset that Disneyland is going to be selling alcohol in more places. Like, he took it as a personal attack against himself. Yeah. And I was like, bro, it's a way to make money. $32 for this lovely piece of plastic is a moneymaker in the same way that $15 for some beer is a moneymaker.
It's a better moneymaker.
Oh yeah,
it's a better moneymaker because the overhead for alcohol is really low. Like it's very profitable because it doesn't cost you nearly as much as what you are going to charge for, especially Disney. Like we went not that long ago, and I had a Mai Tai that was $18.
Mm-hmm.
Did I drink $18 worth of alcohol? Had I bought it from my shelf? No,
absolutely,
I did not. But I sure spent $18 for that Mai Tai that I enjoyed with our stuff at Carthay Circle al fresco.
It was delicious.
Side inside.
Carthay makes a good drink. And
hold on, one of them was the Pim's Punch that's coming to. Mm-hmm. I did notice that.
Yeah,
Aaron and I have had that Pim's Punch there at Carthay, and
it'll be made
coming.
in batch. These are going to be made in batch, and any of the alcohol that you get that's made ahead of time, so that doesn't come from Carthay or from the lounge at the hotel or Trader Sam's. These are all pre-made, and they're not that strong. I did have a drink at the other day at DCA that was stronger than I'm used to when it's a batch drink, but most of them, if you're going to get the cocktail, it's all pre-mixed. So the alcohol's on the lighter side anyway. So you're essentially paying like $20 for some fancy fruit juice that may give you a moment of a buzz. But they are going to sell wine and beer also. The thing is that Walt smoked, and Walt had a bar in his apartment and at Club 33. So if anything, he just didn't want the plebs to have access to alcohol, but he's not anti-alcohol by any means. And Walt was a capitalist. So I'm pretty sure he'd be like, yeah, let's make some coin, but it doesn't matter because he's dead. Hashtag he's dead now. But people, man, that guy was so mad about that.
So do Carthay and all that, do they have full bars?
Yes. Carthay has a full bar with a bartender. He was awesome.
So is that what was brought up? I didn't pay too much attention to this because it doesn't bother me. Are they going to have full bars, or is it just like the ready-made drinks like that?
No, it's going to be like at Oga's and at Adventures Campus, the Pim's Lab. Yeah, though it's just going to be pre-made. It's not a full bar. They have beer, wine, and pre-made Pim's Punch, and I want to say a Hurricane. And that's it. That's all you have access to. And it's only at the sit-down restaurants. So it's only at Carnation. It's only at River Belle. It's you can't just walk.
You're still not walking around Disney with a thing of beer like you are at California Adventure. That's not going to happen still.
That's not going to happen. Even at Oga's, you can't take your drink to go. Like you stand at the bar, you have your drink, and then you leave. So Disney it's still not going to ruin the vibe, so to speak. It's not going to be like DCA, which is adult, may as well be Vegas, walking around with your little yellow cups. But yeah. They have to make money. Disney is hemorrhaging money for a variety of reasons, one of which being what Anthony said, they're just not that creative. And a lot of people, they just have to be careful with what they're spending their money on. And if they're bored or they don't like what the direction that creative is going, like, why bother? If I've been to Disney World and I can't really afford to go every year, then I'm not going to. There's nothing new.
First, let me back up and just about the alcohol thing. Dan knows I've talked about I've speculated about the alcohol thing for many years. I've said if it's presented in a theme appropriate manner and it's regulated on where you can have it, I was always fine with it. I wasn't going to be a weirdo who says, oh, you shouldn't have alcohol in Disneyland. At one time, when you could smoke anywhere in Disneyland, I used to be a smoker, heavy smoker. Like 2 packs a day, 1 pack a day, varied. When you could smoke in Disneyland, I had so much respect for Disneyland that I refused to smoke there. A heavy smoker like myself, I refused to smoke there. I had so much respect for that place. Then eventually, smoking sections, I was like, okay, fine. And then I had no problem smoking weed inside the park at one, when it got to that point. But now I'm like, I would defend the mouse tooth and nail. But now I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, they have secret children sex dungeons in Club 30, trafficking dungeons in Club 33, because that's not happening. I've been in Club 33. None of that is going on in Club 33. Conservatives are stupid as hell. I don't care if I offend anybody or not. Conservatives are stupid as hell. You can cut this out if you want. I don't care. There's no secret child trafficking dungeon, sex dungeon in Club 33. Just stop it. Just stop being stupid. It's not happening. So that and the grooming, all of that aside, Disneyland as a creative company is foul. There's something deeply wrong with the mouse, and I don't know if it can be fixed. I don't know if there's anything creative left in this company. The creative people are ignored. The grand ideas of people that have ideas are then shrunken down to almost nothing, as in Galaxy's Edge and other things like that. Why would the people with grand ideas want to have ideas if their ideas are just going to end up being nothing anyways? Why would you have ideas? And then now Disney's just showing even more their whole ass with the whole double strike situation. All the studios are showing their whole asses. Warner Brothers is just as bad. I don't even want to get started on Warner Brothers, Zaslav, and the Discovery thing. I'm glad to be able to watch Ghost Adventures on Max and not have to buy Discovery Channel just for just long enough to watch Ghost Adventures. I'm glad to be able to do that. But screw you, Zaslav. You're stupid too. But getting back to Disney, there is a creative black hole at Disney right now in every single area. TV, movies, theme parks, everywhere. Anything that is good goes to die. Owl House. I mean, yes, they're bringing back Phineas and Ferb. That's great.
As they should.
But for every Phineas and Ferb that's brought back, for every Futurama that they're just bringing back somebody else's thing that somebody else made famous. Yes, I'm glad they brought back Futurama. I'm extremely glad to see the poster, that there's a Futurama poster on one of the ticket booths in the Esplanade. That makes me giddy. But at the same time, for every one of those, then they cancel stuff like Owl House. They totally pretend like Willow never happened. Things like that. It's just, what the F? And I can't defend. I don't know how I can defend them anymore. But yeah, go alcohol if it's appropriate, and if it's in appropriate places.
Yeah, I mean,
alcohol. Why watch Phineas and Ferb?
Boom. I mean, because if you go to anywhere in New Orleans and a mint julep with alcohol, 100% appropriate.
Yeah.
But that's not, or a hurricane, 100% appropriate for New Orleans. Stuff like that. But, I mean, is that what they're serving?
They're doing a Pim's Punch. They're doing a hurricane. And then beer and wine. And they're serving it at River Belle Terrace, Carnation Cafe. What was the other one, Dan? Do you remember?
Cafe Orleans.
Yeah.
Carnation Cafe.
Was
it Plaza Inn? Wasn't Plaza Inn, was it?
No, I want to say it was Carnation Cafe, but not Plaza Inn. I don't know.
I don't think Plaza Inn isn't the type of place that would do that, because it's not sit down.
Yeah, it's more of a gotta get and go. Though they could, if they served mimosas during their character breakfast, I'm sure they would make a killing on that one. So it's appropriate enough, like, to that you have to go and have a meal and it's not just walking around.
But it's the same drinks at all the locations.
I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I haven't, I'll be honest, I have not really done that much research on it, but those are the drinks that I've heard that they're doing. It's not going to be an open bar though. It's not like when we went to Carthay, you can get whatever you want. You want a Jack and Coke, here you go. You know, you want a Mai Tai, whatever. I would like to see them do more.
The River Bell. It's the River Bell.
River Bell. I would love to see Disney do more with zero proof cocktails, mocktails, because those are becoming super trendy, and they could charge more. Like at Oga's, you can go and get some fun drinks that are non-alcoholic, because there is a large segment of the population that want to be fancy, but who can't or don't want to drink for whatever reason. And Disney could make a killing in that market, and it would show some creativity. And it would just be fun. Like, if I don't want to drink and my partner does, then I can have a fancy drink. They can have a fancy drink. It's good for our Instagram boomerang, and off we go. But again, they're sort of lacking in the creativity department, which is sad.
I'm looking at some articles for stuff.
You want adios without the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want them to leave.
I'm looking at some articles about this, and there's not a lot of news. I mean, most of it get like, well, it was a dry park, except for Club 33, and then I don't see a, and then Oga's.
Yeah.
Oga's. I don't see much else about.
You can get an outer rim at 8:01. Like, it's always 5 p.m. on Batu. That's my joke. So, you know, Oga's is, you can rope drop the alcohol at Oga's if you want to.
Yeah, but I mean, I completely see it as being like what they do at Oga's, where it's just even Blue Bayou. Blue Bayou does not have an open bar.
Nope.
These are what we serve, and that's it.
Yeah.
The problem is because all the places you said are all indoor seating only, or
that's what it's. No, yeah, it's intentional. It's intentional that it's actually sit down restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So that way they can monitor that you're not going to just get up and go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and how
because it's you still have that, like, it doesn't have the rep. Not that I've really seen it. I have heard of things that happen at California Adventure. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard that things happen. But that's a little bit more open. I don't think Disneyland was ever intended even when Oga's open to be like that. No. It is meant to be the more quote unquote mature park as far as that's concerned. And let's be honest. I know you're going to we can complain about Disney security until we're blue in the face, but they actually do a decent job at monitoring what goes on with alcohol, because I cannot tell you the number of TikToks that I've seen of somebody like, we're getting thrown out of, we got thrown out of California Adventure because something as simple as somebody went up and bought 2 drinks, gave one to somebody else. Security said, "Can I see your ID?" They don't have an ID. Then we'll see your ass later. You gotta go because you don't have your ID. Like, Disney security does that. You don't have an ID, you are not drinking, and you're leaving.
Yeah, it's there at DCA. We mostly rope drop, and we see Disney security presence very heavy at DCA in the morning. We just went to DCA on Saturday, and there was security all over walking around that park, all over, just walking through. They're very much, it's not just security though, because when we went and they have this new espresso based like martini. It tastes like a s'more. It's delicious, but it's alcoholic. Well, we had one for like a breakfast drink, and they had like a mimosa or Bloody Mary. This is like an espresso one, but they had, I was watching the staff, just the guys cleaning the trays and like help bussing the tables, and they were looking at who was drinking, and they were looking at that too. So Disney is there is a very heavy presence at DCA when it comes to monitoring alcohol, and it's not just security, it's all the CMs that are in that area. Like at PIMS, I can't speak for, much else, but PIMS is open at 8:00 in the morning, and they had a bunch of people walking around taking a look at who was drinking.
Yeah, and let's throw it out there too that like foreign IDs do not count. You have
Nope.
to have a passport.
Yep.
So like they're looking for the underage drinking is what they're doing and monitoring very closely what is going on. So that is props to them because they do try to control it quite a bit. Like I said, I've never really run across anybody. I've seen the people that are like, okay, yeah, you're kind of drunk, but nothing unruly. Nothing unruly. I think it gets taken care of for the most part, which is good. That's good on their part.
Yeah, you don't want to have to overstaff places just to have people watching for people trying to run out with alcohol, because then that just takes away from the atmosphere. Of course, not that they seem to care about atmosphere anymore, but you know, like I would love to be able to get a hurricane or a mint julep on at French Market and sit out on the patio and drink a hurricane because the atmosphere calls for it. But there's too many exits at French Market, and they have to have people watching all those exits. You got the exit, you got 2 exits out the back by the mint julep bar and the train station. You got exits out the other side on the riverside. It's impractical, but that's where I would want to sit and have a hurricane. But
well, maybe we will not anymore at Tiana's Palace because it's almost done.
Oh, well, yeah,
it's getting ready. You will never have a hurricane at the French Market because it's gone. Yeah,
right.
But isn't a hurricane is one of the drinks at
Blue
Bayou. Yeah,
Yeah.
on the Blue Bayou menu.
Yeah, I mean that's appropriate.
Yeah,
and it worked. Aaron had one when we went.
I did too.
Yeah, did you have the hurricane? And it was
Yeah.
tasty. Aaron said it was good. I didn't drink it. It's a little too sweet for me. I'm not.
If it's sweet, then I'll love it because if it's too strong,
No, none of the Disney. I don't know how much you've had to drink it. I know you don't drink a lot anymore these days, but like none of the drinks at Disney are particularly strong. Like they're very controlled. Yeah,
you are going to have to spend a lot of money, or you're going to have to be like very strategic about the beers that you're drinking to like get that high alcohol content. The hurricane. Even when we go to Carthay, and
is the hurricane sweet but still strong, or is it just sweet and not that strong?
Me, I felt Aaron.
No, I could taste the alcohol.
I
could taste the alcohol, but it wasn't overly strong.
It's not overly strong, but for me, it's too sweet. Like all I taste is the sugar. I don't.
Well, if it's strong and it's too sweet, then it's a very authentic. Because I have had a hurricane on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and everything is sweet. Because they don't want you to taste the alcohol, because they want you to keep walking down that street.
Oh, I'm sure.
So everything is perfectly mixed, so that way your drink taking in enough alcohol, but also not wanting to go drink more.
Yeah, you could. I could have drank it.
It seems very authentic then, if that's the case.
It tasted like punch. They were fair. None of the actually alcoholic drinks I've had at Disney have ever been overwhelming as far as the alcohol. You can taste that there's alcohol in it, but it's not overly done. It is more about the taste because they're all specialty cocktails. You know, it is a hurricane or it is a Mai Tai or something like that, with the exception being Blue Bayou, where you can get not Blue Bayou, Club 33, we can get a bunch of different stuff.
Well, at Carthay,
I was just saying Hearthstone
at Hearthstone, at Carthay, and at Trader Sam's. I have had some old fashions. I've had some martinis because I don't like sweet drinks. I like it to taste like diesel fuel. I want to taste my alcohol. But I've had them make drinks, and they'll cater because it's a bartender. And so those drinks, if you're looking for something that isn't sweet, you want to taste that old fashioned, they will knock your socks off because it's being made by a bartender. But if you're going to get something like my husband loves fruity drinks, that's like his thing. And so every Mai Tai, daiquiri, any of those that he had, he thought that they were delicious. And the hurricane that he had at Blue Bayou, like Dan said, he thought it was really good. He thought it was tasty. It was the right balance of sweet and alcohol, and he thought it was great.
You know what Trader Sam's is, right? That Krakatoa punch. Like, you can put those down
because
you can. It's so good. Yeah, you cannot taste the alcohol in there, and then it will just sneak up on you later. Like that's the way those drinks are.
I don't even know what the drink was the time when I went to Trader Sam's and got the first Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, that you know what?
They had those drinks that were at Trader Sam's. I ended up drinking and having to drink 4 of them. She drank 1 and threw up in downtown Disney. I had 4 of them, and I was just like those are really good, but I'm just gonna chill here for a minute.
So I had 2 because I bought 2, and it looked like a slushie. Because I remember I had my kids with me, and I was like, "You can't drink this. Like, I'll go get you a slushie, but you can't drink this." I drank the first one, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be. Oh, okay. Well, I got a whole nother one to drink, and I'll be damn. I paid for this shit. Like, I'm gonna drink this. Yeah. Oh, I did the same thing, but I only did 2. I did 2, and I was with my kids, and I wasn't drunk, but it crept up on you later. You're like, "Oh, I need some water because I'm feeling this one." Yeah, it was there. It was, I don't know what it was. It was some kind of specialty drink for the tiki mugs, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was a specialty drink that they made just for the tiki mugs, and it was really good going down, but it was no fun. I didn't throw up, but I felt really not well.
So my face, I can't feel my face.
Right. I think I got buzzkill when she threw up.
Oh my God.
It sobered me up.
That usually is the buzzkill. You're like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do that. I don't want to
Nope.
do that. Yeah, I'm
I
good.
just
I'm
ended up
good.
going to the bathroom, and then I was fine.
I'm just gonna sit here. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here.
I was too concerned I didn't want to break the tiki mugs.
Yeah.
I'm carrying around this bag of like 6 tiki mugs or whatever the minimum, whatever you were allowed to buy. I don't remember. No, because I think I had somebody else order for me, so I could get like several. Because I ended up selling them on eBay.
I still have. I bought one for somebody that didn't want it. They didn't end up wanting it. So I still have the original. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the original. Maybe it's the second one. Wasn't
Which
the
one
original
is
one?
it? The hat box, or is it the totem?
It's
of the 3
I think it's the totem.
That's the first one.
Is it? Okay.
That was the first. Well, then there was, I think, a color variant of it. Or
Yeah.
was that the hat that they did color variants?
I think they did a variants of the hat box. I think those are different.
Hat box came out, and I think I missed the first variant. I got the second variant. Then, of course, Florida had a completely different color variant because they're jerks. But yeah, no, the totem one I believe was the first Haunted Mansion Tiki.
So I have to look now. It's still boxed up here somewhere. I think it's in the garage.
Yeah,
So that's.
it's cool. I mean,
I'll find a place to display it. I display a lot of stuff in my classroom now, so the tiki mug probably would go right in there. We talked about the movie. We talked about alcohol at Disney. There was some. Oh, I was going to say some more about Comic-Con, and some things that I noticed there. So it is kind of back to Haunted Mansion related. They announced like day of that they were going to do a screening of the movie for D23 Gold members. Not that I am a D23 Gold member. I actually don't. I think we've had this conversation before. I don't find a reason to have to pay for the D23 membership. There are not enough benefits. There are not enough benefits for me to have to pay for the D23 Gold.
When they used to do screenings, free screenings, it was worth it.
Well, they did it for freaking Haunted Mansion.
Between the free screenings and
the Comic-Con.
Between the free screenings and the magazine, it was worth it. But then once they stopped doing free screenings, I didn't think it was worth it anymore.
The magazine is not worth the price that I'm paying for.
No, I said the magazines plus the screenings, but
yeah.
They were doing like 2-3 screenings a year, way back, 2018.
So they did the screening for D23 Gold members, and then said, "Hey, we're also going to do an offsite pop-up." Okay, so Comic-Con this year was a lot about offsites.
Yeah, it was.
There's nothing else, there's no big Marvel reveals or anything like that, because Marvel, other than the booth they had on the floor, Marvel didn't show. Marvel Studios anyway. So there's that. All of a sudden they announced we're going to do a pop-up for 2 days. It's some photo opportunities and this. Okay, so I think I heard about it on the first day, but it was already too late. The next day I was like, well, let me see if I can get over there. Let me see what it looks like. Okay, so my friend decided he wanted to do something. I said, you know what? I'm going to walk over to where this place is and I'm going to check it out. Okay, so I walked about 8 blocks in the freaking humidity. I get over there, see the line, go to the front of the door and kind of ask somebody coming out. Curiosity, how long did you wait? She said 2 hours. I said, 2 hours? I said, I am not going to wait 2 hours in this line. And that happened to be the one day I didn't take my collapsible chair right, to sit in. I didn't take that. I'm like, I'm not going to wait 2 hours in this line in this heat with nowhere to sit.
There were people waiting 4 hours for the Hulu
2 hours was nothing.
and a mayhem on Sunday.
Yes, I know. 2
Sunday
hours,
morning.
and they had run out of stuff. 2
4
hours
hours, yeah.
was actually not a long wait, but I didn't want to do it because I was already kind of hot, starting to get sweaty. I had nothing to sit on, and I'm by myself. So I was like, this is nothing I want to wait for some photo ops. I'm like, no. Now I got to walk my ass back to the convention center. So I took the scenic route and just kind of took my time to do this. I was like, man, this is stupid. Yeah, a lot of the offsite stuff, it's not handled well. It's not handled well. There was the Jurassic Park one. I know it's a different property, but the Jurassic Park one was lengthier than that. If you were in standby, because all these there was no reservation system for the Haunted Mansion one. A lot of the other ones had reservations for them, or you stand by. The problem with the Hulu one that was in back of the convention center, there's no freaking shade.
Right.
There's no shade back there along the bay.
You know where else there's no shade? By Petco.
There's not.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff, and that's a problem.
That's another one that I would have liked to have done because they had the Dazed and Confused 30th anniversary thing that was inside of Petco, and I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but then saw that there's no shade out there. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do the thing. That's an issue when you have to commit to doing all that kind of stuff because it's just so much. And I do understand you want to give people who can't get in something to do, and this is that, but like the payoff wasn't a lot. People complained like mad about the Jurassic Park one because it was that, and then the Hulu one by Sunday they'd run out of a bunch of the giveaways. So you can't keep up with the demand. So
what do you expect when you make the most popular thing of the convention isn't even inside the convention?
Yeah.
That's
part of it. What I did do though was I went to this thing called Mosh Isley. So
I would have wanted to gone. That looked so much fun. I'm very jealous.
So it was a ticketed event. I did have to pay for it. Oh, you were there when I bought the tickets, actually, because I bought them right there in Carthay Circle when we ate dinner.
Oh,
my friend texted me and I bought them right there. It was about $40, and it was a Star Wars themed emo/punk sing along.
Oh, cool.
This thing was freaking cool. It took some late 90s and early 2000s kind of emo/punk stuff, and they just, like, a DJ played it. The people that run a couple of different podcasts, because that's who put it on, some Star Wars based podcasts, were on stage just kind of directing everybody and just having everybody sing along. They sold t-shirts, which looked kind of cool, and I did end up getting a t-shirt. They sold cheap lightsabers for
that
like
$20. Fun. Everybody with their lightsabers.
Everybody just had a lightsaber lit up.
The best time.
Jumping, pitting. Ahsoka's there in the freaking pit. All kinds of stormtrooper, or Mando helmets, and all this kind of stuff. It was cool. I would definitely do it again. It's not something that they run just at Comic-Con. I did figure that out. It is not something they run just at Comic-Con. They do it at different places all across the year. And what it is it's some guys who are actually in a couple of bands, who are emo/punk bands. They also have Star Wars podcasts. So they're the ones that actually put it on at different places. It just so happens to be that they decide to do it at Comic-Con, during Comic-Con. So I took the trolley from my hotel, because the trolley was real near where I stayed, got off, and I walked like maybe 3 or 4 blocks to where it was. We went and had a couple of beers and did a bunch of singing along and talking to people, including Aaron's new friend, and just took the trolley back.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's
Just
still
took the
talking
trolley back
about
and had a
how
great time.
much he loved that. Like, that made his night. Because really, that's one of the only vloggers he genuinely watches. And like,
the guy seemed like a nice guy. He really did. I talked to him the next day too. Did I tell you that?
No.
Or the next day too. Yeah. Go ahead and finish, and I'll tell you what happened.
No, tell me. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say,
okay.
like, Aaron is he's never, like, he never says how much he loves anything. He's never on Instagram, like, re-blogged anything, and he did that. He's like, look it. He loved it.
So I don't even know if Anthony saw this. So the guy is nice. So Gina's husband is into this vlogger who actually he's a very nice guy. I had a little conversation with him. So she had sent me a picture on the first day or the second day that I was there and said, hey, if you happen to run into this guy, can you take a picture of him or something? Aaron's really into this guy. Okay. So she sent the picture she sent me. I looked at it, obviously. And then when I'm at this Mosh Isley thing, I saw him. he was there. And so I had come back out of the pit area, and I was just leaning up against a pole, just kind of taking a break. I'd gone to the restroom, and I'm like, oh, I need a break for a minute. I'm just going to relax here and just get some of the cool air from the door and stuff, and just kind of relax right here. I saw him, and then I saw him go up the stairs, because it was like, 2-story thing. It was like a VIP section upstairs, because he knows all those guys. So that's what he was doing there. So I was like, oh, that's that dude. Okay, well, maybe I can catch him later. And so he came down the stairs again, and I walked up to him, like, hey, man, is this you? And he said, yeah, how you doing, man? I said, no, I'm good. My name's Dan, was whatever. Hey, I got a friend who's a big fan. I'm like, dude, would you mind actually if I recorded a video of you saying hi to him? And he just lit up. He was like, dude, that would be so awesome. Yeah, what's his name? So I told him his name. So, okay, so then he recorded like a 15-second video of him saying hi, and I sent it to her, and he's all ecstatic. Well, the next day, he's friends with those guys who run the Roosevelt shirts. Roosevelts are those button-up shirts.
He's one of their like brand people. Like they
he wears them all the time. But that's who he was with, and they were in the Star Wars expensive. Pavilion. They're like $70 a piece.
Yeah,
expensive.
So they were in the Star Wars Pavilion, because the Star Wars Pavilion had stuff from Ahsoka, like the some of the outfits and some of the props and a full-size chopper, and then the back end of it is just like some of their branded stuff, like the rings, the geeky tikis for Star Wars, whatever, Citizen watches, and some of the other stuff. Roosevelt's was on the end there too, doing their stuff. They sold some of their stuff, and then some of the Star Wars exclusives that were there for the con. And that's where I ran into him again. And so I walked up and, hey man, I met you the other night. And then he's like, oh yeah, dude, I remember that. And so I told him, hey, I sent him to my friend. He was really happy. He's like, oh, dude, that's really cool. That's so cool to hear. And I said, I'm glad I could help with that, because he could just tell he was very genuine about it. So that's kind of cool.
Well, he was he'd been vlogging for a very long time, but his channel took off during the shutdown. And before that, he was like, I don't know, like a line cook at Denny's or something. Like he comes from Pennsylvania and moved to Florida with his then wife. Then they get divorced. Poor guy. Like, he's been through a lot. But some people, like, he does have like a persona, like his vlogging persona, but it's a fun, good-natured person. And he, like, from what I've seen, he seems to genuinely be appreciative of his success. And he's just fun to watch. He's just, like a good, nice Midwestern kind of dude. And anyway, we watch him all the time. That's one of the only ones.
I've seen him. I couldn't have picked him out from a crowd, but both interactions I had with him, I don't have anything but positive things to say. He just didn't seem cocky. He just seemed like a normal dude. So I was like, okay, I respect that. He didn't make it seem like he was better than me or not. No, it just seemed like just some random dude I started talking to. So that's what it seemed like. So I was happy with that. But as far as the rest of the convention, I mean, all your usual stuff, pops all over the place, comics that are beyond my price range, pops that are beyond my price range, all kinds of different stuff.
It's weird because when I went to
2005 thing.
It's weird because when I went to Comic-Con Revolution in May, I noticed a extreme drop in the amount of pop sellers compared to the last Comic-Con Revolution I went to in 2020, I believe it was.
So Funko was there, and Funko,
or 21.
There's good things to say about Funko, and there's bad things to say about Funko.
I mean,
and some of those bad things are creeping up. Funko is becoming oversaturated, and Funko is having that problem, kind of what Disney does. They're not knowing how to manage things at all. It's gone bad. So Funko puts on like a Camp Funko at Comic-Con, which costs like $400, dude. It is not cheap, but you get food, you get live entertainment. Gabriel Iglesias performed, as did AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys. And of course you get a bunch of exclusive Funkos. Everybody has complained about the food, because the food was a chicken sandwich that was a tiny piece of chicken, slathering of some kind of aioli sauce, lettuce and tomato on some white bread that looked disgusting. I mean, you wouldn't feed this to your dog. Like, it looked that gross, and that was what they paid for as far as food. Really, what they paid for was the Funkos. That's really what they paid for. Their place was a mess, man. Like I walked over there on the Sunday when it usually kind of quiets down a little bit, and I did actually see this. I saw the crowd or security for Funko kind of throwing some stuff out in the crowd, little plushy keychains or whatever it was. Saw a guy reach for one and almost knock over a lady on a scooter who was kind of behind him. And so security was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you almost knocked this lady over and whatever. And, oh no, did this and like, and you still picked up the thing, you took it. He said, you picked it up out of her cart. You picked it up out of her cart where it led. He's like, well, hit my hand. Hit my hand. Okay, he's like, dude, you can't do that kind of stuff.
I'd like to see him try that rule. I'd like to see him try that rule at a baseball game.
I know.
Oh, right? They all hit my hand.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the security guy gave the lady in the cart one. He handed her one personally.
That's a problem. That's just a bad poor planning, and that's a con problem. Because I saw a video after the Star Trek panel.
Oh, that was bad too.
Where they handed out the poster for the musical.
That was
bad. I saw the video of it. It was a cluster F.
Okay, so I don't know why they did that. I have no idea why they did that. Gina,
for years, they were doing that back when I was at Comic-Con.
But that's not how it's run anymore. Here, I'll tell you how it's run, because this is what I had to do. So in case you don't know what happened, Gina, like there was a Star Trek panel, and they announced, oh, you're getting a poster. You guys can all go pick up the poster at the Star Trek booth right after this panel.
Yeah, instead of handing it out at the end of the panel like they've done it, for literally every panel ever.
They don't do that anymore. I'll explain how it works in a minute. So what do 4,000 people do? They go and rush the Star Trek booth.
Yeah.
And clogged up the floor and created a mess. No, the way it's actually done now, and I don't know why they didn't do this, is they go through and they hand you a ticket. They hand you a colored ticket, and you take that ticket to a different hotel in their ballroom.
A hotel.
And that's where you pick it up. Yeah, so I have a poster for Haunted Mansion and a poster for Creator on the other side of me over here on the table, because I have to find a top. I freaking ended up wrinkling it a little bit, but it'll look fine in the top loader. I got to get a top loader for it so I can display it, because it's actually really nice. It's actually Hattie with his hand on the brim of his hat like this, and let me see if I can pick it up right here. Like I said, I did unfortunately wrinkle it a little bit, but it'll look cool in the frame. No, you can't. Kind of, sort of. No, yeah, it's not working. I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I really do like it, but I gotta get a top loader for it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember. Maybe it was last Comic-Con I went to, or I went to a con where they gave you a ticket and then you had to go to another room. And
even that's better.
Played out and went up and you gave your ticket and then they gave you a poster.
They gave you the stuff. Huh?
They have done that in the past.
Yeah, because I was at the Spider-Man 2 panel for the PlayStation 5.
It was 23 that did that. Or Celebration. One of them might have done it.
Celebration, I think, handed us stuff as we walked out.
Yeah, never mind. Celebration was stupid.
But yeah, that's they've done that for at least the last couple of years that I went, because I went to the Funko panel last year and they gave us a ticket and I went to go pick up my box of Pops.
You know what it was? It's the people who usually plan that stuff are on strike. I don't know. Well, there had to be a reason where there was a breakdown of saying go to the booth and get these posters where it should have been something else. Obviously,
and, maybe, and that could be what it is, because even the guy that moderated. Okay, so you have an excuse and you don't. The guy that moderated the panel for the director thing that I saw where I got the posters, and he was like, I think you got a ticket and I think you go to another room upstairs. He didn't even know. But on the screens before the show starts, continually flashes different announcements, including, if you're given a ticket during a presentation, take it to the ballroom at the Manchester Grand Hyatt to collect, what you're going to do. But, people don't read. So there we go.
You and I both know that no one follows directions.
I know.
And I now know where my students get it from, because I was alone. The weirdest thing happened. I walked past Rise of the Resistance just as it went back up. So it was literally a walk-on. And then just as I got off, it went down again. So I caught it at the perfect time. Nice. But I was with this group, 11 people, and I got shoved with them because I was by myself. Ew. And so none of them were able to follow directions. The CM, who's, in character, had to tell them multiple times to stand on the color in groups of 4. And that was apparently way too beyond
That's too
their
hard.
understanding. And they were not understanding it whatsoever. And I'm just standing there and I'm like looking at this poor CM, and the CM is looking at me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. But nobody listens, nobody follows directions.
I mean, I think we've had a discussion on this podcast before, or maybe some other podcast, about how, well, specifically how doing like single rider, you end up with a bunch of stupid people. Or I think we were talking about Millennium Falcon, about not wanting to end up with a bunch of stupid people. But I think we've also had discussions about this before. And as a former employee of multiple theme parks and working on multiple rides, specifically, I could just say working on E.T., the adventure, yeah, people are incredibly stupid. Nobody
like they're on vacation and they just like...
You can put up 50 signs,
yeah,
and we'll still not understand.
I'm like, is it vacation brain? Like, but that's why, like, you know, even with our students, three-quarters of them aren't paying attention. I say the same thing 17 times, and then I see it in my everyday life, and I'm all, yeah, checked out.
I mean, and sometimes you meet their parents too, and you're like, oh, okay.
So whoever was supposed to come up with the plan to hand out those Star Trek posters either was like, nah, I'm good. They checked out. They're on strike. Whoever was supposed to do that dropped the ball. It happens. Obviously,
does.
Getting back to Funko, I mean, that was a very poor plan to just go out there and start throwing things at people. You know, you're going to draw a crowd. I mean, well, come on. I was going to ask you.
And it was the crowd that was already in line for their admission.
Oh, so I mean, so they were already there. So you're just going to make it worse because the people are going to see. People are going to walk by and see things being thrown and think it's for them.
Yeah, man, that's on Funko.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on Funko, but that's on any booth. I was going to ask you how the Brickbuster store was. Did you go in there?
I did. It wasn't a store. It was just like a display of what was like coming out or what had just come out. Okay. They had the Sonic stuff.
Comic-Con's always been famous for plenty of stuff to look at and nothing to buy.
Yeah, so they had the Sonic stuff that's coming up available because that's kind of the newest property that they're going with right now. You could wait in line to give you like a blank, like kind of like a 5x7 flat piece that you could build a portrait on with a bunch of different pieces they had in the bins there. So a bunch of those were like that. It had obviously a theme of like Blockbuster. There were some like contests you could do. Like every day they had a little handout, and I think we got it on 2 days. One was the first day, the preview night, they were giving out Brickbuster cards, so it looks like a Blockbuster video card. If you had an actual Blockbuster video card, you could redeem it in for a special pin. But like, who knew that? Who brought it with them? You know, if they did. And then there was kind of a scavenger hunt. If you found an actual Blockbuster like case, you could take it over there and get a certain prize for actually finding the Blockbuster case. They were doing things like that. A couple of photo ops. One of them was a speeder bike, and the other one kind of changed daily as to what it was, made out of Legos. So I mean, it was okay. The booth looked cool, and all around it looked like a Blockbuster, but it wasn't crazy. The Marvel booth, man, forget it. You couldn't even get in there. It was ridiculous. Marvel does two things. They do one where they had some displays and they had costumes from the Marvels and from Captain Marvel, and then the other booth that they have is a store with like shirts and stuff like that. You couldn't even get in there. The lines were... Which
one had the Loki costumes? The Loki season 2 costumes?
I think it might have been in there, but I couldn't even get in there.
Oh.
The problem,
3 costumes from Loki season 2.
Now, what they do is they start doing like interviews and stuff right there. Well, then you clog that entire area. Well, you've been to D23 where it's the same thing. They clog that area and you can't see anything. Right. So, and then because they have the store at a different booth, like I was supposed to get a free digital comic because I had Marvel Insiders, the app. I couldn't even get in there to get that because they kept capping the line. Lines are a problem. Like lines are legitimately a problem because they don't know what to do with them. So they end up like you'll get in a line and then they'll say the line is capped. Okay, what that means is it's not like sold out for the day. Like if you're trying to get an autograph, they can't have any more people in line because there's nowhere for the line to go.
Right.
So you have to kind of like I went to the Camp Snoopy one, right? and was told line's capped. He's like, just kind of wander around and come back in a few minutes. And when this line goes down, then we'll open it again. Oh, that's how you're running things. Okay, so anytime you wanted to get into a line that was capped, you had to just kind of wander around until like, okay, 10 people have gone from that line. Line's open now. Okay, now I'm in line. Then the
now you are gonna have things that do get actually capped because
because it's just no.
Well, because the person signing autographs could only be there for a certain amount of time, but then has to go
right
break or whatever.
So I mean, I learned a lot being there all those days. I went to the Masquerade for the first time. I'd never been to the Masquerade Ball, which I thought was fantastic, and I kind of realized it's not really as hard to get into as I thought. Like I thought it would, So I was like, okay, I would do this again because if I'm down here for 4 days, okay, kind of cool. So we did that and just kind of learned how things worked. Like, okay, I can do this, and here's kind of how I have to do it. After the first day, we were like, I'm not coming here before this place opens again. I just won't do it. I will not come before they actually open the doors just for whatever again, because I don't want any exclusives. And why would I get off either at Gaslamp, which is halfway through the convention center, or off at Convention Center, which is at the end of the convention center right next to the Marriott, and still have to go back towards the Marriott to get in line. I'm not going to get dropped off here to walk all the way back again. No, I'll just come in after the doors are open and walk right in. And that's what I did the rest of the days. I went back and just walked right in. Because by then they opened the doors.
From Funko, there's only one thing that I wanted from Funko. And I just looked, and if I go, or it was Loungefly, but they did it with a Funko Pop like crossover, and it was like this cute little backpack with Heimlich in it because I love him.
Oh yeah.
And I could still get it. It's $120. I can buy
Loungefly
it.
Is owned by Funko.
Yeah.
So,
Funko owns Loungefly.
But it was at the Funko booth because it has a little Funko Pop in it, like it's this cute little Loungefly. But I could get it right now. I could go on their website and get it for $120. So I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like it's an exclusive, but you can still buy it.
So
now.
Things like that don't matter a damn because there's no sticker, right? There's no sticker on that.
Right.
There's
no sticker on that.
Pops
I don't think so.
Matter for sellers or completionists because the pop that you get at Comic-Con will have a different sticker than the shared exclusive that you buy online.
Okay.
It's going to have a sticker that actually says San Diego Comic-Con, and it's going to have the Comic-Con logo, and it's going to look...
It says summer.
That's the one for the shared exclusives.
That's the shared exclusive sticker. If you get it at Comic-Con, it's going to have a different sticker that actually says San Diego Comic-Con exclusive with the Comic-Con logo, and those or any other con, it's going to have a logo that's specific to the con. Otherwise, you just get your summer convention exclusives, your fall convention exclusives, your sometimes spring convention exclusives.
I didn't know last year. We had just decided to go to Funko, the store in Hollywood. We just decided to go. I left. We ate lunch. First of all, I didn't even realize that it didn't even open until noon. The store doesn't even open until noon. It opened like 12 to 6 or 12 to 7 or something like that.
Wow.
I didn't know that. So we go and we park, and I see this line. And I was like, why is there a line here? So I asked, what is this line for? Oh, the line's to get into the store. I was like, oh, okay. Here I am thinking there's still some kind of COVID protocol. Okay, which is why it's so big. I'm like, well, how long does it take? From right there where the line kind of is, probably about a half an hour. And I was like, oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. And I know inside it's nice and cool. I will always herald the bathrooms at the Funko Pop store. They're very clean, and there's a lot of them. They're very clean, and there's a lot of them.
Best.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't realize until we got in, that's the day the shared exclusives dropped. That was the first day that you could buy the shared exclusives at the Funko store. So I was like, oh, okay. So we went and did our thing. We're just looking around. And then I noticed later, I'm like, hey, the line isn't that long it's only like 4 or 5 people. Because everybody came and got what they wanted. And they had most everything that was going to be, I was going actually to Comic-Con the next day. I was going for the day the next day or 2 days after that. And I just was like, oh, okay. So I got some of those pops that were like, oh, I just want that because it's a cool looking pop. I didn't have to deal with any of the mess at Comic-Con to get those Funkos because I don't care about the sticker. I just thought the pop was cool. But yeah, he's right. That's what the reason is. People want it for that, for the resale.
You can get more money for the ones with the actual con sticker than you can for the shared exclusive ones. Sometimes not. Sometimes they end up going for exactly the same thing. It's really just a hit or miss on, some end up going for hundreds of dollars. Other ones can end up just being 5 years later and still just being $20.
That's what it's getting to right now. That's what it's gone bust. Unless you have a super extreme limited, like they only made 200 pieces of this thing. No, they're not going for any money.
I mean, I have a few pops that worth like 100, but no, go ahead.
I said, has it gone the way of the Beanie Baby?
I don't think it's that we're there yet.
No, we're not there yet.
But they need to stop making so many duplicates of ones. And I have seen a lot of new pops announced that are not duplicates of pops that have come out already. They need to stop with all these different color variants and weird things. I mean, there might be a market for them, but there's you go to Target and there's pops everywhere. You go to Hot Topic and they have like their wall. I think the wall at Hot Topic has quadrupled since when they first started their pop wall at Hot Topic. I remember when they didn't even have obviously, but it started out I think as just an end cap. Dan probably remembers when pops at Hot Topic were just an end cap. Now they take up like a whole wall of a whole store. So, but yeah, no, I think they need to learn some lessons or else they're gonna have problems.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, the Funkos are cute. Like, I think they're cute. I liked it just because I thought the little Funko inside the backpack was adorable. I don't $120 love it. Like,
no,
that's a no from me. But that was literally the only thing that I saw that I was like, oh, well, I would maybe want that, but not for $120. But the lounge flies have gone up too. I know everything has, but lounge flies when they were 50, 60, $70, okay, but now we're getting into flies that are like 80, 90, 100, and I'm like, it's a backpack.
Hey, to be honest, the lounge fly backpacks haven't inflated in price as quickly as Spirit jerseys.
Hey, stop, man! Leave my Spirit jerseys.
Spirit jerseys jumped from $70 to like $120. It would seem like overnight.
If they look like an Ed Hardy version, then that's what they cost. If it's just a simple design, they're still in that price range where they were. If it looks like Ed Hardy made it,
but they were all like no more than $70 at one point. Now there's ones that are well over $100, and it's just the jump. Like, I mean, yes, the Loungefly has gone up just as most things do, but the jump in the Spirit jerseys, I think it was a much more like jump than just casual.
So
the raising of Amazon Prime's prices in the last 10 years.
We're gonna have to start wrapping it up. I told you I got that other thing to do, so we're getting pretty close to that time. So, anything else we wanted to bring up and talk about? We haven't had a chance to talk to it. There's been a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, that's probably something that I can't think of. But
yeah, did you finish Secret Invasion?
You know what? I mean, I was gonna bring it up. You were talking about something else that made me think about Secret Invasion, and I think I was gonna mention it with the creativity discussion, because I mean, we don't want to get into that again. I'm just gonna say that it deserves every bit of its 8% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't put much stock in Rotten Tomatoes, but what I was giving the benefit of the doubt to that series, even after they, spoilers, killed Maria goddamn Hill in the first episode, after she went on and gave an interview, this series is so great for my character, and then she fucking dies in the first episode. Spoilers.
Kind of senselessly, too. Kind of senselessly.
Super stupid. The last episode, if they could have. there's so many different things they could have done to redeem themselves, or they didn't even need to redeem themselves. The series had been fine, other than the Maria Hill thing. Olivia Colman was an absolute delight in that series. She was so amazing. I hope to see her acting, doing some maybe bounce. I'd love to see her bounce off of Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, like later on with Thunderbolts or something. If they come to head somehow, that would be amazing. But she was great. But yeah, that last episode. Did you see the interview that apparently it was? You guys have both seen or don't matter about the last episode?
I saw it. Yeah.
Does it not matter to you?
I don't care. No, I'm not. I'm such actually.
The Super Scroll was Feige's idea, apparently.
I didn't hear you. What? The what?
The Super Scroll fight apparently was Feige's idea.
Oh, I mean, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that.
That after what happened with the finale of She-Hulk, where they made the big jokes about saving money and not having her be She-Hulk, and then how the complaints about She-Hulk, that Super Scroll fight looked amazing, but it didn't have to be.
I mean, they shifted back and forth to the characters, so you could tell whose powers they were using at the time.
CG really great. I thought CG looked great compared to, say, some of the CG in She-Hulk. They could have just not had that fight and diverted some of those funds to She-Hulk, and She-Hulk could have been amazing. And then they could have actually had a really good ending to Secret Invasion. Now, granted, I've never read the actual comic, but I've actually heard the ending of the Secret Invasion comic is kind of trash too. So maybe it's just a meta thing. I doubt it, but they could have just done one single thing in that finale, and nobody would be talking about how trash the ending was, and that would have been Daisy Johnson. That's all they had to do was have Quake in the finale, appease all those people that have wanted somebody from S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., to appear on the show, specifically her. They've wanted it so badly. All they had to do was do that. They want to appease fans. They want to appease the masses. They could have just done that one thing, and happy people.
I was looking to see how much of it led into, and I know they're saying it's supposed to lead into, the Don Cheadle film, Iron Wars. I think, is that what it's called? Armor Wars? Iron Wars? I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. So that it leads into that, and I saw the Marvels trailer and was trying to figure out, did any of that lead into this? Because that's probably the next.
No, if anything, this leads into the whole dialogue at the end about how the Kree want to have peace
talks.
Peace talks. That's leading into Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I know it's there. Again, having watched the trailer, seeing that Nick Fury's back in space, like led up to that.
You see him going back to space.
I enjoyed it okay. I thought it was kind of slow paced at times. It was one of those things where, not that I don't pay attention to when I watch things, but I had to really pay attention to when I was watching this, because you had to catch the dialogue, because it's very dialogue heavy. So like I couldn't be distracted when I was watching it. At times I even had, the way they were talking was kind of low. I even had to have the subtitles on to read what was going on. So right. I didn't think it was, I don't mind it, but I didn't think it was Marvel's finest series at all. It's ranking up there with Captain America and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of
more spy drama than anything else.
I've seen plenty of similar sentiment that Falcon Winter Soldier was still worse than this.
Yeah.
And I think they're both.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that either. But it's not one of Marvel's finest. The way WandaVision worked out, and I still will tout Ms. Marvel as how I really enjoyed Ms. Marvel. I wish it had gone on longer, and I'm looking forward to seeing that character in the Marvels, because I think she did a fantastic job. And it's like, because of who she is, like I know that kid, like I know that teenage girl, and I think that was probably one of their better done series. So even if people didn't think so, I think it was. And then She-Hulk, I touted She-Hulk right here in this podcast until the end. I still don't know what I watched. It's like I like this until it got to them. Like I don't know what I watched. Even Moon Knight. I like Moon Knight. I thought Moon Knight was. I wish Moon Knight would go on.
I mean,
I've
Loki.
Yeah.
Loki, speaking of that, did you have the trailer came out today?
Yeah, I saw you. I think you posted it, and I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't posted it yet, but
I'll get to
no,
it.
I haven't yet. No, I posted about Pee Wee Herman, but no, Loki came out early this morning. Usually the most nobody seems to think that Marvel knows how to stick the ending to their series, which seems to be a common complaint. All of the complaints seem to be that, or everybody that says all of the series that they always complain about the ending. Moon Knight, the ending sucked. Falcon Winter Soldier, the ending sucked. WandaVision, the ending sucked. I'm sure there's people that think the ending sucked on Loki, but I think the ending had to be exactly what the ending was on Loki to set up everything that was to come or is to come. So, but I was when you get a chance to watch the Loki trailer, I watched it just before we came here. In fact, your termite guy gave me the opportunity to watch Loki before we started. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to watch it until after. So yeah, no, that looks great. I can't wait to see. I'm sorry, I never tried. I don't want to try to say his name because I'm going to mess it up. But Short Round is in the season, and he's immediately in the trailer, and he's great. I see Pillboy is coming back. Eugene Cordero. I call him Pillboy because of Good Place.
Anything else? You got about 2-3 minutes.
I'm taking my niece to Storytellers Cafe on Wednesday. Just me and her. She's 7. So all the luck to me. I haven't been there ever, but she loves the Fab Five. So I don't even know who's at Storytellers, but we'll see if she's down.
I don't even know if Disney knows who the Fab Five is anymore. So
well, yeah, she's pretty much.
They're putting them on a lot of merchandise. They're putting them on a lot of merchandise again.
Because I've noticed a lot of Mini taking over certain other people's places in the Fab Five lately.
Right now, Runaway Railway is taking over everything, and have a Runaway Railway shirt, and I wore it the other day, and we just noticed Donald Duck's not on it.
Yeah, and that's her favorite is Donald Duck. Specifically, she loves Donald Duck without his hat when he's mad. But my niece likes Pete. Do you know how hard it is to find Pete merchandise?
Pete is awesome.
But he exists, especially now that he's in Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's kind of nice because they are paying homage to him. But yeah, so I'm going to go. I've never taken just a 7-year-old to a buffet. She pretty much only eats chicken nuggets and fries when we go anywhere. So I did look, and it's the brunch menu, and they do have chicken fingers and fries. So hopefully she's good. But
maybe take my son there too. And she's 7, he's 14. But
your son can go and get chicken nuggets and fries with my niece, and they would be very.
He would entertain her too if you let him. So
we took some vegetarians there, and they managed to find things to eat. So,
hey Anthony, real quick, we don't need to go on a rant about this, but they announced that the Mickey shorts are coming to an end. They're done now. So that means we're gonna be probably shortly here getting a new interpretation of Mickey Mouse.
Which is so weird because do you think that the what's the Steamboat Willie thing, the short that's coming up?
Oh, the silly, yeah, I know what you're talking
about. Whatever it's called. It has the weird Mickey that I don't like, but there's another Mickey in there. I don't know. Is they
transitioning? I don't know.
Some sort of Doctor Who thing? Now that they have power over Doctor Who, are they trying to do some Doctor Who thing with Mickey? And he's gonna is he gonna regenerate into new Mickey like Doctor Who? Because
speaking of Doctor Who, which is now Disney, they did something fantastic at Comic-Con, and I did it the first day, but I didn't get called back in time. I left. They had a photo op, like one of those 360s with a sonic screwdriver shot. Nice. And what they did was you scanned in, and you could keep track on a website that they had with your scan-in stuff, how long it would take for you to come back. Like you got to see your place in line. So then you would just go check in again and have your photo taken.
Oh, that's nice.
Everybody else should have done that. That would be so easy, right? Like here, I don't need to take a number. I need to do this. Like it really is just like here, scan this, and you see a live countdown. Like I scanned it and I was like, oh, I'm 76 away. Okay, and then I'm like, dude, we're never gonna get this before.
I can almost guarantee that was
and then
Disney doing that.
As soon as we walked out of the convention center, I was like, dude, it's my turn. We just walked out. I'm like, well, I'm not going back, so like maybe I'll try it another day. And then I forgot.
Oh.
But like I was like, that's a cool way to do it. There was a few booths that utilized that technology to say, hey, we can do it like this. That way the booth Marvel was with people and Doctor Who wasn't. Like,
That's how you know that it wasn't Disney in charge of that Doctor Who book.
Yeah.
Probably Bad Wolf was probably in charge at the Bad Wolf for BBC. Probably Bad Wolf because that's Russell Davies.
Yeah, and that's what Disney Plus is getting. They're getting the new version of the show. So, okay, I gotta make sure I go get my son here. So, hey, it was nice to finally get one down. We'll get this out pretty quick. It'll be out in the next probably tomorrow. All right, okay, we'll call it. Like I said, another day or two. It's good to see you. Good to talk to you. We'll do this. I promise you, much sooner than this last time because my life is finally back to normal for the most part.
Samesies.
I'm even going back to work.
Okay.
Stop recording. See you later.
Disney Culture is a part of the Extraordinary Culture podcast universe. Follow my Disney stuff on IG and YouTube at Dan's Disney Adventures. Follow my Disney stuff on TikTok at Danzig77. It's DANSZIG 77. Thanks for listening. See you real soon.